You've decided to list your home for sale. Congratulations, it's a big decision. So now the question is what is your strategy for getting the most amount of money in the least amount of time? And it really comes down to pricing. You're either going to price your home at fair market value or you're going to overprice it. So that's the question. What are the pitfalls of overpricing your home? Hi, I'm Mark Carton with Carton Real Estate Services in Queens, New York. And this is really a three-prong approach to the answer to this question. So I'm going to take it from the position of the seller, you, of the listing agent, and of the buyer. So from the seller perspective, we're talking about motivation. So either you are motivated to sell, which means that you have a place to go, you are downsizing or upsizing, the house is too expensive for upkeep or for taxes, you are relocating for retirement or for a new job, or perhaps this was a family member's home, they've passed away, and now you're liquidating the property. So those are motivated sellers. The second option are the testing the market sellers, which is they saw their neighbor's home sell. They say, my house is better than that. I can get more money than that. I'm going to list it with a little bit of a cushion and for negotiation purposes, of course, and we'll see what happens. They really don't have a goal in mind as to where they would go. And then the third option is the I dare you to make me sell seller, who is at odds with their spouse as to whether to sell or not. So the non-agreeable spouse says, if we get enough money, X, then I'll agree to sell. And the price is ridiculous and the home is not going to sell. So that's motivation. Now, the pricing of a motivated seller for being at market is going to attract a lot more buyers. And this goes into the second perspective, which is of the listing agent. So you, the seller, are giving the agent that you choose to list and sell your home all the tools they need to market the home to the best advantage for you. So one is that your home is in immaculate shape and presentation as best as can be, and you'll discuss that with them. And their ability to market through photos and videos and floor plans and aerial drone tours and all the things that help get buyers to potentially come and see your home. But the price is the key. If you overprice the house, you're going to reduce the buyer pool. All right, so let's turn to that third element, which is the buyers. So buyers are either going to be cash buyers who have a definitive budget because they only have so much cash, or they're going to be a mortgage approved buyer. And that mortgage approved buyer also is within a limitation of what their mortgage approval is. So a lot of buyers these days are approved for a certain amount of money. Let's just say, for argument's sake, $850,000. They're going to set their search up at $750,000 because they want to leave themselves a cushion to bid in this very low inventory competitive market. So now they can bid $775 or $800 or $850. All right. When you overprice your home and you get an offer from a buyer with a mortgage and you accept that offer, the next step is an appraisal contingency. And that appraisal contingency doesn't exist in a cash offer, but that is what's going to make or break your sale. Because when your home gets appraised and you already overpriced it, the bank is going to come back and they said, this does not appraise for value, and it's going to be a choice up to the buyer and seller. The seller can lower their price to what the appraisal is, which is going to defeat the purpose of accepting that offer. They can come to an agreement of somewhere in between that the buyer will make up the difference, either totally between the lack of value from the appraisal to the agreed purchase price, or buyer and seller can't come to an agreement and the sale cancels, and now you have to go to a backup offer, if the backup people still even exist. So getting in and out of the market, that initial strategy I talked about, in the least amount of time for the most amount of money, just went out the window. So by marketing your home at true market value, you're going to bring in the most amount of people. Hopefully, you're going to be able to accept a cash offer, which has no contingencies. And otherwise, with a mortgage buyer, you are going to set within those standards somewhere that you're starting out at a point to where the market will allow for that increase in exuberance of a buyer's offer. So starting out with an overpriced listing does not work for your listing agent because they can't market the property and get as many potential buyers in. And worst of all, sets you up for failure when it comes to appraising and ultimately closing. So talk to your agent, learn what the comps are, and price accordingly. So it only works to your best end result to understand the market, to put together a pricing offer that is irresistible for potential buyers. And so you can get in and out, not leave any money on the table, and on to your next adventure. I wish you the best of luck with the sale of your home.